Welcome to Generate. I'm Jen, and I'm on a quest to generate self-sustaining joy. One of the scenarios I found has most consistently killed my joy has been moments where I've sacrificed a little piece of myself, thinking that it will make me more palatable to someone around me. We do this consciously and unconsciously all the time. Maybe somebody said that they found your sense of humor tacky, so you stopped saying the jokes that come most naturally to you around that person. Maybe a friend said, "I hate when girls smile with their teeth showing." And you look at your Instagram, and since then, none of your pictures have seen you smiling as fully and authentically as you used to. The desire to have community and friendships and to fit in is normal and healthy. But sometimes what we do to earn or keep that community or those friendships isn't quite as healthy. I'm going to introduce you to a two-step process for showing up authentically. In this video, step 1, we'll look at how to define what it means for you to be authentic. In the next video, we'll look at how to maintain that authenticity in the face of perceived calls to edit ourselves to be acceptable to the people around us. As a baseline, unless what you're doing is hurting the people around you, you should not have to change anything about who you are to be acceptable to others. You are inherently worthy of being loved exactly as you are. So let's dive into what it is that makes you so special. For the purposes of this exercise, we're going to put you in what I'm going to call the Generate Utopia. We're going to wipe the slate completely clean and put you in a town full of people who you can be 100% wholly and unabashedly yourself around. You have my guarantee that nobody in this town will judge anything you do. The town has everything at your fingertips that you could possibly need to pursue what you want, completely free of charge and with no barriers to entry. When you're ready, I'd like you to pause this video and write down what your life would look like in this utopia. If you could have a job doing anything you wanted, if you could pursue and be good at any hobby you wanted, have any friends you wanted, without any fear of anyone judging you, and you had nothing standing in your way, what would that look like? Write every last detail down. I want you to really dig into this exercise and think of absolutely everything, like how you would dress, what you would eat, how you would carry yourself. If you knew that your friends, family, and romantic partners accepted you at face value without you needing to change anything, how would you behave? Are there any ideas that come into your mind or tugs on your heart that maybe you feel like are impossible or really scary to pursue? Would you pursue them if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you would be successful? Visualize your day from sunup to sundown in the Generate Utopia and document everything you see. When you think you're done, I want you to set a timer for 5 minutes and just sit still. If something new pops into your mind, go ahead and write it down. If nothing does, I want you to use this time to really soak in this life that you've created for yourself. Next, I want you to highlight all the ways that this ideal world differs from the world you're currently in or the circumstances you're currently facing. Is this Generate Utopia physically located in a different location? Does that place speak to you in any way? Do any images come to mind, like writing on a dock by a beautiful lake? And can you recreate that image in reality? What feelings arose, like nostalgia or hope? And when was the last time you felt that in your current life? Sometimes the dreams in our heart are genuinely fantasies. For example, as much as you may want to, you can't marry a fictional character. But other times, these perceived fantasies are actually little hints at what we could pursue in our current life. For example, you can marry somebody who has all the qualities of your favorite fictional character. Perhaps more relevant here, maybe you dream of someday running your country, but you perceive it to be impossible. In reality, someone out there, or multiple people out there, will someday run your country. If you genuinely want to be one of or that person, but you perceive it to be impossible, you are self selecting out of that dream. If you don't do it, someone will. And there's a chance that person wouldn't do it as well as you would. That dream is there on purpose. You owe it to everyone around you to pursue that dream. Now, because we envisioned every last detail in this world, maybe you find that the big picture items are actually the same. Maybe the career would be the same, the city would be the same, your friends would be the same, but the only difference would be something small, like maybe the way that you dress. This is just as important to eliminate as the bigger picture items. You'll see why in a little bit. Now that we've looked at your ideal world and we've compared it with your current world, we should look at why your ideal world and your current world differ. Let's take the style example. Maybe you would dress differently in your ideal world, but in your current world, you're afraid of drawing undue attention to yourself. I want you to examine why you think that is. Maybe a friend or a family member said something about that style of dress that really stuck with you. Or maybe you feel like you would stand out in your community in a bad way. Once you've identified it, I want you to think about whether you could potentially live with the worst case scenario that you've identified in your fear, or even if the worst case scenario is a reasonable reality. I know these considerations are very personal and very important, but I also want to remind you that showing up as authentically yourself is absolutely worth it. You never know, maybe by dressing the way that you want, it would open the door for other people to dress how they want and show their style more freely. Or maybe if you start dressing the way you'd like, people who adore your sense of style will come up through the woodwork, and suddenly you have a community of friends who make you feel less odd. At the end of the day, only you can decide what you are comfortable with. However, by considering all of the possibilities, you get the opportunity that if you decide you don't want to pursue your dream scenario, you have chosen the scenario you're in and you're living authentic to the choices you think are best for yourself. There's joy in that too. Obviously, I took a pretty small scenario here with the wardrobe scenario. You could pursue the same kind of thought patterns with very, very big life choices, like moving to a new city or taking on a new career path entirely. There should be some comfort in knowing that in many of these big life choices, except for things like having children, you can go back and sort of undo what you've chosen in the event that it doesn't work out for you. For example, you could move to a new city, and if you find that that city really doesn't suit you, you could move back to your old city. You could take a new career path, and if that career path doesn't fit you, you could always go back to your old career path because you've already got the qualifications for that one. The main goal of looking at why your current life and your ideal life may be different is to examine the assumptions that underpin your life choices. Maybe a long time ago, a choir teacher told you that you would never be a singer, so you let that dream fall away and you edited yourself in accordance to that feedback. Did that choir teacher truly have your best interest in mind, and do you respect their feedback? Or if you do respect their feedback and you do think they were doing it to protect you, maybe you're at a different phase in life where you could pursue lessons or small opportunities to sing, like at an open mic night. To recap, the process of defining your authentic self had 3 stages. The first was to dream about your ideal life if no one was there to judge you and nothing stood in your way. This engages your ability to dream without the implicit limiting beliefs that may have shaped the choices you made over time. The second was to look at where your current life may differ from your ideal life. This is meant to expose places where you may not be showing up as authentically yourself. But the determining factor shows up in the third stage, which is looking at why your ideal life and your current life may differ. Sometimes these discrepancies are because of beliefs that somebody told you that actually may not be accurate. In other cases, these differences are entirely legitimate. In your ideal world, you may not want to work at all. But in your current world, you do need money to survive, so you have to have a job. There are career paths you could take that help you to retire faster, or maybe to one day not need a job. But until then, by pursuing a job so that you have money to survive, you're showing up as authentically as you can in this current moment. In those choices, you are also being true to yourself. Hopefully, the process of exploring these stages gave you the ability to reflect on who you are right now and who you would like to be. In the next video, we'll look at ways to maintain your authenticity in the face of challenges from the people or circumstances around you in which you perceive that you have to edit yourself to be accepted. Please give this video a like if it resonated with you, and hit the subscribe button so you can see when the next video drops. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope your week is filled with joy.